Hey, what's up guys, it's Lego Hobo 910 here with another Lego video. And in this video, I'm reviewing 75182 Republic Fighter Tank. Now let's get right into the review. So here is the tank with all the side minifigs removed. And this tank is really cool. They have made one before for the Clone Wars, and I didn't get that set. Pretty sure that was a decent while ago as well, like maybe 2008, so it's a fairly old set, so it's good to get this tank again. And also that one was very bulky and big looking. This one is much sleeker. It might be a bit too small for minifig scale, but it's not too bad. It's really good looking and very sleek, and I like the fact that most of the detailing here isn't with stickers. Obviously there is a decent amount of stickers, but they also did detailing without stickers, such as right here. To get a few green stripes, they put a grill plate over some green. And they also, instead of putting a sticker here, they put green and white. You can see a little green stripe there. They did a lot of detailing without using stickers, though they did use a decent amount of stickers, such as the ones on the front here and this armor detailing. Plus, this is also very sleek and smooth looking. And then there's a big air pocket there. Sadly, I wish they would have maybe built the wall a bit, though it does make this feel a bit lighter and creates kind of an easy way to hold it, but I wish they maybe would have used a few slope plates to do that. Plus, the bottom looks fairly ugly, but this doesn't matter because it's a ground vehicle, and it just runs on 4 low wheels, which give it the illusion of hovering, like it does in Universe. And on the side, we have 2 guns. They are just mirror images of each other, and they have stud shooters, which I feel kind of ruined the look a bit. They bulk it out a bit too much. I wish they would have just left them off. I mean, yeah, it adds the ability to fire, except I think it would have done better if they just had maybe a 1x2 plate there, or maybe put a 1x1 and a 1x2 and then put a tile on top to smooth this out a bit, instead of that big bulk there, which doesn't look as good. And stud shooters, if you didn't know, can shoot. And that landed perfectly upright. I'm just too cool, I guess. And I like the fact that they use these kind of ski pole antenna pieces as the cannons. It's a unique use, and I think it works well. Sadly, though, they can't go all the way down because they bump into these clips here. This one's just holding a silver wrench. And then this one is empty, but you can take the driver's gun and clip it in there if you want, like that. And then they also used some of the gray ingot pieces here. A nice use for them. Creates a bit of armor plating look. Use some grill plates. And once again, very smooth and sleek back here. I also like the bar pieces here because it adds to the look. Plus, it can also be used for posing and playability. Like, you can get Aayla Secura in a kind of kicking pose, though these do break off fairly easily. They're just connected by 2 studs. You can get her in kind of a kicking pose there, to look like she's flying through the air, kicking a droid. Or if you want droids getting run over, you can have them kind of clinging on to it as they get run over. It can be used for so much posability and playability, even though it's just a few simple bars, which we'll probably put there just for decoration. I really like those. If we move around to the back here, you can see that this is very smooth as well. It is one of the more boxy parts, though. Like here, there's that weird-looking gap. And if we open this up, you can see they gave us extra ammunition for the stud shooters. I just piled them up. You don't have to, though. And that just fits in there nicely. I also like the way that they use these sword pieces, like the fencing swords, to create some antenna. I think that's a creative use. You can see a bit more green there around the edges. Now moving on to the cockpit, you can see some clear pieces there to represent the little window slits, though they are really kind of blocked off and you can't really see through them. I'm going to take out the clone gunner here, so that way you can see the inside a bit better. And there's this little hatch here, which sadly doesn't cover it all the way up. I wish they would have built this up a bit more and like sloped that out a bit, because there's a few little holes around it, so that's a bit of a shame. Though they did use some of these new quarter curve pieces to shape that out a bit. And then on the inside, there is a little tan seat there. And on this one, there isn't one of those leg bracket pieces, it's just studs. You can see in the front there, that's kind of hard to see. I'm going to try to get some more light in there. They have a printed console piece. It's a fairly common piece. I've seen it a bunch. And then they use a bucket handle as kind of some steering sticks. Though, if you push it all the way back, it's really hard to get it out again to put it in the gunner's hands. And you kind of have to rip off this whole section to adjust it. And adjusting the way that this is placed is very hard, and it just broke off. I'm going to repair this, that way I can show you the rest. There we go. Now that's fixed, so we can continue the review. And don't get me wrong, the set doesn't break super easily. Just if you want to adjust the way the steering sticks there are, it's really, you have to tear it apart. And the really bad thing about that is if you want the gunner to sit in here, you're very likely to end up knocking out the sticks and making them go flat against the wall again, which makes it really hard to reposition them. And getting the gunner in here isn't exactly easy either. As you can see, you end up ripping off his helmet a decent bit trying to get him in. Once you finally get him in, which, there we go. He's really far in there, and you can close the lid completely, so that's good. But the problem is, once he's in there, getting him out's like impossible, because you end up taking off the helmet. Sometimes you end up even ripping off the head. So, that's not very convenient. And you could try just standing him up in there. Then it doesn't close fully. And even if he is standing, you end up taking off his helmet trying to get him out. So there really aren't good ways to position him in here. The only good way is connecting him with this bar, where you can just clip on his hand. And this is to get that very important look where they're kind of peeking out the top. That's what I look for in every kind of tank build of smaller tanks, because that's a very important and classic looking look there. And you can try to swivel him down hanging on that to close it, but it doesn't really work. You can try to kind of seat him and swivel him in there while he's holding the bar to get that closed, but it doesn't really work. Though this is actually kind of a cool look there. But you can't really get him in there well without having to take off his helmet when you take him out, so that's a bit of a bummer. But I do like the look and functionality of this build. There are a few things that I don't like the stud shooters, though the functionality of the cockpit area isn't the greatest. Our first minifig, and probably the minifig most people will buy this set for, is Aayla Secura. And she only came, I think, in one set. I know they've only made one design of her, but I think she only came in one singular set, and that was the Clone Wars version, which I know a decent amount of people don't like, because sometimes their eyes are bigger, reflecting their animation style. Like, if we get Obi-Wan here, you can see his eyes are big, and they reflect the animation style of the Clone Wars, so some people don't like those. So we finally get a just movie Aayla Secura, and I think that's great. Plus, it's also been a long time since we got her, because the Clone Wars one was in, like, 2008 or 2009. So it's good to get an Aayla Secura. She just has plain brown legs with the slightest bit of detailing, though it's really hard to see. There's a little bit of silver on her hip line there, and a few line details, but it's really discreet and hard to see. And then her top here, the printing on it looks nice, though sadly it doesn't carry around to the side, which makes it look kind of funky. Though they did get the brown arm there because her top does carry over her left arm. And then she has this really cool Twi'lek hairpiece. I'm just going to remove her lightsaber here, which just has a blue blade. She has this cool Twi'lek headpiece. It has the little kind of bump ear things that she has. And then kind of the main brown helmety look, with then all the cloth twirling down the tails. And if we take that off, you can see her face a bit better. This one's just kind of a generic smiling face. This one is more angry and battle ready. You can also see the back printing now, which just continues over the top. So I think she is a great minifig to get, also for a fairly cheap small set. Now the next minifig here, who is really great, is this Phase 2 Clone Gunner. If you didn't know, there are differences between Clone Troopers. There's Phase 2 and Phase 1. As you can see, Phase 1s have much different helmets and armor designs. And this is a gunner. And I don't think we have gotten a Phase 2 clone gunner. I know we have gotten a Phase 1, but that was quite a while ago. And this is a massive improvement over the Phase 1. Here's the Phase 1. This is a decent bit old, not sure what year this is from. But as you can see, the improvement is really good. There's a lot of detailing here. The leg detailing is great. The torso, there's that kind of clothish armor piece going over the front, and a lot of detailing and depth using shadows. They gave him the long gun piece, and then just put a little Technic pin on the end to build it up a bit. His helmet's also great. Has the tan patches there. My helmet has the slightest bit of a misprint on the bottom there. Yeah, you might be able to see that if you know what this is supposed to look like. As you can see, it kind of bumps there, and there's kind of a bit missing there. It's supposed to just be a full circle on the bottom there. So there's a bit of a misprint on my helmet, but that won't happen with most people's. I just got a slightly misprinted piece, which is a bummer. Then the bottom, it carries over the prints and keeps doing more depth using shadow. I really like that. Now if we take off this amazing helmet, you can see that he just has generic angry clone face, and normally I would complain about that with stormtroopers, but since this is a clone trooper, I'm fine with it because clone troopers are clones. Though I wish they would occasionally vary it up. Like, if you've seen the Clone Wars series, some of them have like little head tattoos. I wish they would occasionally put those on. I don't like when they do that with stormtroopers though, because stormtroopers aren't clones, they are different people. Now we have a minifig who is, it's not amazing, but it's fine, because it's always good to get more battle droids, and we get 2 of them. And the battle droid design hasn't changed in quite a long time. I wish they would maybe add the slightest bit of printing on the eyes or something, slightly change them up. But the battle droids are kind of plain and boring, except it's good to get more because there's always a gajillion battle droids on the battlefield, so yeah, if you haven't seen a battle droid, this is your opportunity. They are fairly common, and I have like a bunch of them, so it's not like, woo, super cool, epic, exclusive minifig. And then they both just come with a medium blaster piece as per usual. Yeah, just generic battle droid. Good to get them, but they're not amazing, great minifigs. It's just always good to have more of them. Overall, I really like this set. I think the minifig choices are great. Also, for a fairly cheap set as well. If you didn't know, a good price per part is 10 cents. This is about 300 pieces, and it's about 25 bucks. So it's about $5 cheaper than it should be. And I would think that with such desirable minifigs, they would jack up the price, but they didn't. So I am very satisfied with this set. And I also feel it's very massable. So you can get a decent amount of these for fairly cheap. Well, not fairly cheap, but you can get 2 of them for $50. So it's not like you're spending hundreds of dollars to get a massable army. And you would get a massable vehicle, massable soldiers. The only thing that isn't massable is Aayla Secura, except you could easily switch out a hair piece, switch out different pieces from your own collection to create different Jedi, or, you know, just change that up so that way you can have different Jedi on the battlefield with parts from your own collection, but with parts from this set you can't have her be massable, but the rest is very massable. So this set is great, and I might pick up 2 because this is just such an awesome set. My only complaint is the cockpit. If you want them to actually be attached to the studs in the bottom, you'll end up tearing them apart trying to get them out. I feel like using a leg bracket there would have been a good choice because that will hold them in well without making it impossible to get them out. But that's just my opinion, and peace.